challenges that we will be facing are very interesting. It is time to learn to listen. Let's see. So welcome to Shortcuts for Your Soul. And today I have Master Buddha with me, and it's on learning to listen. And this is so important to understand this concept of listening. And we're going to get into that in a minute. I just want to share this video out to a few places so other people can come and enjoy that. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful morning. It is a brand new, beautiful day. And hi, Kathy. Good to see you. So yeah, learning to listen is so important. There's no greater time than to learn to listen to these multidimensional beings, these ascended masters, your guardian angels. Learning to listen to voices that are not of this world, that are beyond the confines of what we've been taught to believe and think as being the only truth. That there is and are elements of truth that go beyond beyond the sensibility of your senses to the sensibility of the infinite intelligence that is here to guide you. Just give me a moment here. I have to call these, paste that there. Just give me a moment. Post. I know. There we are. So good morning, everybody, and welcome. It is an amazing time right now. I want to tell a little bit of a story because this happened this morning. So it's really important that you learn to listen. And what do I mean by that? I mean that learning to listen means you learn to hear more than your own thoughts. Most people are stuck repeating and replaying their own thoughts again and again and again, what they're going to say, what they're going to do, where they're going to go, who they're going to see. A lot of people spend a great deal of time just repeating and repeating and repeating the same stuff different day. Learning to listen means you can hear and receive guidance beyond what you think you know. And believe me, there is lots of that available to us today. One of the things that happened to me this morning is I went to take the dog out this morning about 45 minutes ago, and I walk outside the side door of our building, of our condominium, and a voice says, pick the dog up and walk away. So I literally bent down, and I've learned to listen. Believe me, I've learned to listen. So I literally picked the dog up, and I walked away from the door, and no sooner had I gotten 8 feet from where I was standing than this large chunk of ice, about 3 feet long and about 6 inches wide, crashed down exactly where the dog and I would have been standing if I had followed my normal routine. And it was my guardian angel, John, of course, who told me that. But the art of listening requires several things. The art of actually learning to listen, to hear your guardian angels, to hear the wisdom of the masters, the ascended ones, the beings that are working with you on multi-dimensions. Learning to hear beyond what you think you know, beyond the established information of your personality, is so important. Otherwise, we'd have a seriously injured or dead little puppy dog, because our dog's really, really small, and this chunk of ice would have really, really hurt her, because who knows how high it came from. So learning to listen is today. And Master Buddha says, to learn to listen, first you must stop hearing what you're so used to hearing. Stop listening to what you're used to hearing. Literally to calm and quiet your mind. This is something all of you can do, but few of you understand the need to do so or why. But in those moments where you find yourself daydreaming pleasantly, where your mind is not preoccupied with your future or your past, and you're simply enjoying things, the simple things like a flower or a sunset or a beautiful taste of food, when you find yourself in the moment you can hear. In the moment, your mind can listen to what is beyond itself. So we can learn to listen. And this is so important, to learn to listen. It's really timely, too, that this came up at this time. I just got to correct it. Thank you. So learning to listen. I just had to shut my notifications off or we would have had that annoying buzzing going on. And so learning to listen is really, really, really important. Not listening to your own thoughts, not listening to your memories, but literally getting your mind quiet and still. Getting your mind quiet and still. That is when you can actually begin to listen. I remember not thinking walking out the door. And that's why I like to keep my mind quiet, because that's when I actually hear information outside of what I think I know. So when I open the door, I'm mindful about the little puppy. Yes, he says also mindfulness is very important. Mindfulness as being in the present moment. That's what mindfulness is, being in the present moment, deliberately, intentionally in the present moment, and not distracted by everything else around you. And so I was there in that moment when I stepped outside the door, and I just was in the moment of feeling the sunlight and feeling the air. And in that instant, then I hear the voice say, pick the dog up and walk away. Just as clear as that, as clear as you can hear my voice, or as clear as I can read your questions. It's that clear for everybody once you know how to hear. And in order to hear, you have to learn to get your mind quiet and undistracted. Your awareness must become undistracted by your thoughts. Your awareness must be in this moment, not before and not after, but in this moment. For in this moment, there are no distractions unless you choose to be distracted. But you can choose to be in this moment. You can do this. Then you have moments where you're in the moment and you feel good for an instant, and then you're distracted by your memories and you're distracted by things around you. Very few of you make enough time to sit quietly in the present, to feel the expansiveness of what the present moment is, to feel that vibration of freedom that rejuvenates and re-energizes your body, that enlivens your life with new ideas and inspiration and inclination. This is so important to understand this, to learn to turn your mind off and to listen. Do not listen to your thoughts, but to listen to the silence. This is where you begin to hear in the silence. You cannot hear in the noise of your mind. You cannot hear in the distractions of your body. You can hear in the silence. And you can hear a great deal of things in the silence and still remain undistracted. You can remain undistracted in the silence. And that is a beautiful thing, to remain undistracted in the silence, aware of so much more than your mind can conceive of being aware of, and to remain undistracted by any of it. You have this whole world to practice with, to remain aware of, but undistracted by anything. And what a delightful position that is to be in, for then you have choice over what you will give your attention to and not where your attention will be pulled to. For most of you find your attention being drawn this way and that way and this way and that way, feeling like you have very little choice in the matter of what you will pay attention to. So learning to listen in the present, to be aware, undistracted, quiet your body, still your mind, and you will hear more and know more than either one of these instruments can offer you. For your ears only hear the things of sounds of this world, but your soul, your awareness, is capable of much more. So this process of learning to listen in the silence is one of expanding your capabilities your receptivity, and your freedom to choose. Your freedom to choose. Your freedom to actually have thoughtful thought. Thoughtful thought. Thought that you choose to consider, which is not normal for your mind because your mind is busy filled with the thoughts of before and the thoughts of what might be from the thoughts of what were before, and so you find yourself distracted in thought rather than excited by thought. In learning to listen, there are simple things to do. To articulate and cultivate that skill, there are simple things to do. Learning to hear without distraction, learning to see without distraction, is a skill that you have to train your mind and body to. Otherwise, your mind and body are like, what's that? And what's this? And what's that? And what's this? And your mind is distracted. Your body's distracted. This sound, what does that mean? You must train them to be in the moment with you so that you hear something, but you're not distracted by it. But you know when you hear the sound of a bird, it is a bird. You do not need to look and see that it is a bird, but your mind and body, it's a bird. It will want to see because it is used to protecting itself in this fashion. Restoring yourself to silence. Restore yourself to silence so that you can listen and hear. And, your guides, your angels, the beings that are working with you will find a way to get through to you in whatever way that you have an opening. When I was on that bridge many years ago ready to jump off, there was an opening where my guardian angel John was able to tell me to stop, and I heard. Today, going out the door, it was not a hurried voice, it was not a rushed voice, it was simply pick the dog up and walk away. Calm and easy, no anxiety, no stress to it. I just obeyed. When you learn, and I obeyed because I know from experience that when I hear a voice communicate to me in that fashion, that is speaking to me from a position of truth. And then, of course, when the ice hits the ground after we walk away, I know of absolute truth that my faith is placed in the right place. That being said, I want to talk about vibration. It is important that you raise your vibrational awareness, your energy, the energy of your body, the energy of your thoughts. It is so important that you raise them up. If you are in a low vibrational physical state, you're going to attract different things into your experience, people, events, and circumstances. If your mind is in a low vibrational energy, you're going to attract experiences, circumstances, and events that match it. So learning how to differentiate between your mind, your body, and who you are as awareness, then put you in the position of being able to retrain them, to retrain your mind and body into a state of being that is more fertile for your expression here, so that you can bring forth information, knowledge, and wisdom that is innate to who you are as a sentient being, as a soul, and to then offer that up to the world. But you can't offer it up if you've got a bunch of stuff in the way. So raise your vibration is so important. Yes. So he's just asking me to slow down because I get excited. It is important you understand that your awareness of what is true and what is false has been skewed by this world. Your ability to know what is true and what is false has been skewed by your experiences with this world. And this is more so presently in this time than in others. So the value in being able to return and restore your awareness to this moment, to the silence where you can actually hear, to restore yourself to the silence where you can actually hear. This does not mean that you will not be aware of the things that are going around you. On the contrary, you'll be extremely aware, but undistracted and undisturbed by any of it, and knowing more so what is in alignment with you in terms of what you will give attention to and what you won't give attention to. You begin to move into an understanding, a knowing of what is in alignment with what you are as a vibrational extension of infinite love, manifesting itself into matter, time, and space. You came here to offer the world your grace and your bliss. You came here to offer this to this world. And so you must return to that within yourself in order to offer the gift again. So raise your vibration. Bring it up. Yes, food is so important. Water is so important. The quality of food and the quality of your water is so important to begin to raise the vibrational state of your body. Changing the quality of your thoughts and emotions is so important. That what you are attracting as events and circumstances, what you are manifesting as events and circumstances around you, are directly correlated to your conscious and unconscious thoughts. And learning to end, yes, he says, learning to end the separation between conscious and unconscious, so that you are in a state of oneness, in unity with your mind and body, is very critical. To end the unconsciousness. But in order to end the unconsciousness, you must become more aware of what you are aware of, and release yourself from the unconsciousness of that. You must become conscious in this moment. And this is a very fascinating thing. To become unconscious is what happened as we grew. We became unconscious. We got so much information, so many of us have had experiences that are upsetting and hurtful. We don't want to feel it, so we become unconscious to it because we don't have the knowledge and skill of how to change our energy. And as you learn to become conscious of it, you learn how to heal, transform, and transcend emotional energy, because emotional energy is what we're all creating in this world with. We use energy, emotion, which is what energy is. Energy is emotion in motion. Learning how to use the energy consciously, deliberately, and intelligently. Most people use emotional energy in reaction. They don't use it in conscious choice. They use it in reaction. And most people are reacting emotionally to stimuli or even thoughts they have in their own mind, or what they watch on television. Yes, he's saying it's important to pull your attention away from all distractions to be liberated from them. To pull your attention away from all distractions to be liberated from them. And what's really funny, when you start to become undistracted, this is my experience anyway, as I began to learn to get my mind and my body quieter and still, I actually became more conscious. I was aware of more things from my past, more emotions. I became aware of things that were hidden inside my mind as I began to listen in the quiet. You'll hear everything in the silence. Like, you'll literally hear so much more when you listen to the silence. You'll actually begin to remember things you hadn't remembered in years that are unconscious, emotions, thoughts, feelings, and you can then begin to reframe them, restructure them, repackage them, transmute them, transform them, so those energies from your past will no longer influence negatively the creative present or your future. Yes. He's saying to me right now, it's important that you not be entrapped with too much thinking about this, but rather be captivated by not thinking, by being aware. And I'm not suggesting that you ignore your ability to choose thoughts or be thoughtful. I'm saying be mindful, to not be captured by thought, but to be aware of thought, and then to cultivate your ability to choose which thoughts are reasonable to give your attention to, and which thoughts are reasonable to take your attention away from. For whatever you give attention to, you will embody in your experience as you are right now. And so, learning to listen, restoring to silence. And this is leading us, of course, to Supernatural Saturday, which is next Saturday at 11:30 a.m. The meditation is going to be on learning to listen, to really access the present moment, to literally move your attention out of your mind, to literally be able to step out of it so you can actually observe it from a wholly new perspective of being. And there will be several beings with us on Saturday, one of which you will meet on Friday. Yes. Yes. We're going to take some questions and answers, but learning to listen is so important. Learning to be able to listen in the silence. You can hear so much more in my meditations. I can hear, like literally, meditation is not about limiting your consciousness. Meditation is about expanding your consciousness. And we go into this in great detail in our Mediumship 102 program, where we talk about and practice meditation day after day after day. We get into deep meditative processes where you learn to quiet your mind so that you can actually begin to retrain it to be what you need it to be. It's so important to learn to get your mind to be still and quiet and peaceful. Buddha's way more evolved than I am in this respect. Yeah, I feel like a neophyte when he's present, because he does not say anything that does not need to be said. There's no need to say anything that does not need to be said. Thank you. So let's take some questions and answers. Hi, Patricia. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Tanya. Hi, Drusilla. Good to see you. Magical Buddha. Welcome. Good day. Question from Lauren. Does Buddha have a message for me today? He's saying the lesson is learning to listen, not simply to my words, but to listen within, to listen to the expansive, the limitless, endless nature of what you are, to listen to how expanded you are. What do you mean by that? If she goes into silence and allows herself to hear, she will understand these words. The freedom that comes when you are not distracted is immeasurable when compared to the distraction. And if she lets go of but one thought, and then another, the ensuing silence and freedom that she will embrace will liberate her from that which she has been struggling with for some time now. The struggle will end when you cease to pay attention to the struggle, but just be in the moment and observe it. Observe that struggle. Do not be part of it, and you will become free of it. Cool. Let us know what that means for you, Lauren. Question from Magical Buddha. How do I forgive myself for not being utmost compassionate with some of the people in my life? He's saying you practice being the utmost compassionate with them now. You cannot go back and change what is done, but you can change what is now. And I would also recommend that you liberate yourself from the judgment you have of this, so that you will be fully compassionate subsequently. For your judgment of this action on your part will maintain the condition of this lack of compassion. So please release yourself from the judgment, and you will find the available energy to be compassionate is already there. Question from Kathy. My 2-year-old grandson Landon is happy soul. He stops, raises his right hand to his ear and motions us to listen while he plays. Is he in a state of meditation awareness? Yes. He is picking up, he's trying to comprehend. Because he's so young, he does not have the language that you and I have. Yeah, he does not have the language to understand what the information he's receiving. Support him in this. Honor him with this. As he gains the understanding of language, not simply able to repeat the words, but the understanding of the language, he will begin to interpret effectively the information he's receiving. But teach him to trust if the feeling is good. Remind him that if the feeling is good, if it excites him, then this is something he wants to. As was being said, encourage him to feel the vibration of that which you know he's listening to. If it feels good, then he should learn to listen. As he understands language, he will begin to know its meaning. Wow. Thank you for that, Kathy. And children, remember, children between the ages, I want to say this, children between the ages of 0 and 6, sometimes higher, they are aware of all dimensions. They are not localized to body mind yet. All of their clairs, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, clairgustance, all of their clairs are wide open, but they do not have the reflective framework, the individual awareness yet cultivated. They haven't cultivated the individual awareness to distinguish, oh, I'm hearing this, I'm seeing this. They don't have a working knowledge of language, so they can't form concepts about what they're perceiving. And a lot of parents don't have a knowledge that their children actually are telepathic. Children hear thoughts very differently. They hear sound very differently. They see images. They don't see language. They don't hear language. Children don't understand language. So when you're thinking to your child, I love you, what you hold in your mind as a feeling is what they get. They don't get the words. Children don't get language until they're age 3, 4, 5. But they feel the energy of what you are putting out, and they see the images of what you hold in your mind. So be mindful, especially when you're with young children, be mindful of what you hold in your energy field as an emotion, and what you hold in your attention as a thought. Very important. But yeah, remember that about children. They understand, they see it all. They see color patterns. They see all the clairs are wide open. They just don't, there's no training in place to teach them about what color pattern you're seeing. That's clairvoyance. Or what voices are you hearing? What energies are you seeing? What beings are you seeing? They don't have language to articulate when they're looking up at something fascinating. They don't have language to say, oh, this is a Pleiadian being, an ethereal being of light that's come to see me. They don't have language to articulate that. They're just experiencing it in the moment. There's no definition. There's no analysis there. They're just into experiencing. It's up to parents to begin to understand and comprehend these facets, these non-physical senses that we're all born with, and how to instruct children to honor them and cultivate them and develop them along with physical sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. There's these clairs, the non-physical senses of sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell, the non-physical versions of them that we need to parents need to cultivate an awareness of to respect that in children. Wow, what do you see? They're learning to see what the child is seeing. It's very difficult for children when parents don't know how to say, oh, I recognize they're responding to a color pattern, or they're responding to an actual being that's in the room. And many parents I've spoken to have actually had their children say, Mommy, I'm talking to this man in my room, or I'm talking to this angel, right? They are actually seeing that. A lot of parents, oh, it's just their imaginary friend. It's not an imaginary friend. It's an actual etheric being. There are so many dimensions, and I'm very passionate about this, that children need to be encouraged by their parents to recognize that there are other realms of consciousness than the ones that our 5 physical senses provide for us. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Question from Sunny. Is there a message from Buddha? He's just reiterating, if you have been with us, then you understand that silence is very important for you. Learning to listen in order to hear. Learning to listen in order to hear. Question from Marigold. Does Hayden have a message for me today? I don't know why I'm getting the words, you can dig it. I do not know what that means, but they're saying you can dig it. Again, I don't know what that means. Very, very, very strong. And yeah, and playfulness. You can dig it. I don't know what that means for you, but they're saying you can dig it. So whatever that means, please let us know. Yeah, very nice being, very funny. Uh, Thank you from Russia, frozen Russia, sending warm love. Yes, yeah, that's wonderful. Question from Heidi. I believe I'm feeling Buddha energy through you, William. Is there a message he would like to give to me tonight? Yes. Did you get that? Did you get that awareness? He wants to know, did you get that? Did you get that awareness in the moment? It was in what was not said that you felt. He says he'll do it again with you right now. Just feel that. Did you feel it that time, Heidi? There's a bliss in that. I certainly felt that. There is a bliss in that silence that he enjoined with you. In truth, you are always connected in that place with the Buddha. In that place, you are always connected to the divine. It is when you are able to be in that moment that the delight and the bliss of it is there for you always. Thank you, Heidi. Great question. Wonderful. I'm just going to do this. Cool. Question from ZB. I feel a warmth around my limbs at times, and a message usually follows in the form of intuition. Is this Yeshua? If so, does he have any message for me today? No, that's not Yeshua, although his presence is in your life. But this is not. This is your guardian angel. I get this. I've never heard this name before. The name is Dalian. Again, I don't know. You can try to figure out how that's spelled phonetically, but Dalian is the name of this one. In the saying and speaking of his name, when you sense his presence, you will perceive more. Wow. Thank you, ZB. That's great. I love when that happens. Oh, you're welcome, Heidi. Question from Danielle. I am worried about my daughter's safety due to people harassing her. Any message for her? Yes. In your concern is the greater threat. Release your fear. Your daughter is greater than you know she is. To embrace the vibrational knowledge that she is always in love. She is always in her joy. That she, in her own mind, is liberated from the thoughts and judgments of others. She does not need to take on their energy, but recognize and have compassion for their suffering. And she does not need to articulate this to them. She simply has to know that this is their pain that they are putting on her. She does not need to receive that. She merely has to acknowledge that they are in pain and to just allow them to have that back, to not take it on, to understand, to move through them without attachment to their suffering. This is very important. Thank you. We all must learn to discern between our emotions and the emotions of others. Empaths know this very well. And part of our program, our mediumship program, really allows you to understand the difference between your emotions, how to utilize them, and how to not get caught up and be subjective to the emotional projections of other people. And especially young children, they can interpret, especially if they're empathic, they can interpret other people's thoughts and emotions as their own. And once you can make the distinction between, wait, this energy I'm feeling is coming from that person. Once you can make that distinction, you just have to move yourself to a more enjoyable state. realizing, well, that's not who I am. That's their pain. That's their suffering. That's their fear. I won't take it on. I'll wish them love and I bless them. And that's really a powerful statement. When somebody's projecting negative energy at you, to hold a blessing in your mind and heart for them. But do not have any fear about your daughter's safety, or you will add fear to her. You'll give fear to her. You'll give that fear energy to her. So important. Do not give fear to your children. Give joy. Your child is a very powerful being, right? The fact that she's aware of this and can hear this and know this says a lot. But do not give her your fear, for you will bring that to her as much as she could bring it to herself. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Here we are. So here we are, learning to listen. This is so important. Learning to listen. As you get more aware of how to make your mind quiet and still, learning to train your mind to be quiet and still. Your body will follow your mind. In training your mind to be quiet and still, your body will follow. And in that silence, and in what follows that stillness, comes your peace of mind and the clarity again of who you are as a vibration. Learning to still your mind is very important and very valuable. In listening carefully to what I say right now, you can feel how your mind naturally listens when it is given the direction to do so. It will listen to who I am, and it will listen to who you are as equally, as long as you are willing to make the distinction that it will listen to you when you say, it is time to be relaxed and still. And as your mind and body feel the joy that emerges from the less stressful nature of a silent mind, you will find yourself more inclined to want to listen to the silence. And in there you will hear more and you will know more. You will know vastly more than you can ever know in what you've learned from this world. Vastly more. In the silence is limitless potential, wisdom, and knowledge available to you. And we encourage you to indulge yourself with this level of freedom. Thank you. I'm going to take one or two more questions and then we're going to call it a day. Question from Lauren. Why do I have pain on the left side of my head? There was an injury in another lifetime that has not been released. It was involving an energy of what you call rage, Lauren. There's an energy of rage that's stored in that part of the field. I'll say the field, not in the biology, but the biology is interpreting what the field is holding on to. So move yourself into the energy of that pain. Move yourself into the energy of that pain and extend your love and compassion to it. And then extend the love and compassion into the field around the body. It's about, as far as my hand, so that's about 1.5 feet out. So you want to extend first love and compassion into the physical energy that you call pain. The pain is just an energy that's picked up by the body from the field around the body. So you alter that with love and compassion, and then extend that vibration out to the energy stored in the field from that previous lifetime. And you'll feel an immediate change just by doing that, right? You don't need to know the details of that lifetime. All you need to do is correct the energy that you brought forward from it. And this is where a lot of, learning how to work with your energy is so important. For those of you that aren't doing it, go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, register for our upcoming mediumship courses. They start in February 13th, and learn to run your mind and body. Learn to connect to your guides and angels. Learn to liberate yourself from the limitations that your acquired personality has. Learn to become free. And like I said, walking out the side of that building and having a voice that says, pick the dog up and walk away, and doing that, and then seeing that big chunk of ice fall, you learn to listen. There are beings that are here to take you to levels of knowledge, wisdom, and consciousness that will just blow your mind, but make perfect sense to you, and you'll understand them. There are just limitless potentials of dimension and creation available to all of us. Learn to develop yourself. And we place a strong emphasis on getting you to teach your mind and body to be receptive to who you are as a soul, rather than you being contained and imprisoned by your mind and body. Your mind and body are meant to be instruments for your creative process. Anyway, go to my website, register for the course. Do not waste time. It's time. This is go time on the planet. People are waking up all over, and they need guidance, they need knowledge, they need wisdom, and they need instructors and teachers to remind them of who they are, to get disentangled from the limitations of their acquired personality. It's such a beautiful thing. Yes. You're welcome, Lauren. Remember, what we are working with as souls, as energy. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be changed from one state of consciousness into another. That's all we are dealing with is energy. The difference is you are an awareness that can become conscious of that truth and therefore begin to articulate deliberate changes in the conditions of what you call your world, your body, your mind, to become conscious and in alignment with your ability to do so is freedom. And it is just energy. That body you're in will not exist forever. That mind you have at this time will not exist forever. You will, but your mind and your body will go through change. And you can either allow the change to be something that is imposed upon it from the world, or you become the agent of change in your own life. We invite you to join us. Wonderful. Well, guys, I want to thank all of you for coming by today. We'll see you on Shortcuts for Your Soul on Friday. Yes, and we're going to meet a surprise guest on Friday that's going to be working with us on the meditation on Saturday with Buddha and Master Jesus and Archangel Michael and one other. It's going to be amazing, learning to move into the stillness, to be free from your thought, free to choose, free to reorganize your life and orchestrate a new paradigm for yourself and for our planet. Anytime you become free, you make the world a better place. Anytime you become free in who you are, the world becomes a better place. I want to wish you all much love, much joy. I want to thank Master Buddha's presence today. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to Heidi, for your question, because it really is so poignant. Like I said, I to be able to just be in the silence, to be free in that. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Much love to everybody. Have yourselves a joyful day, and I'll see you on Friday on Shortcuts for Your Soul. Bye-bye.